Okay, 3-4, kind of the same thing. We have 15 millimeters. Need to double check. Let's see, 40 minus 25 would also be 15 millimeters. And nothing really called out at the top. So, the thing with the thin features, we just want to make sure that we're consistent because we're not going to be able to change these wall thicknesses. If I need a wall, then to have a different dimension, then I'm going to have to draw that whole profile. Kind of the same with the offset if we were closing that in. All right, so this one's in millimeters, kind of hoping that we would have a mix of inch and millimeter. So this one can be back in the front plane. And then my sketch up and over. So we have 40 millimeters on the lower leg, 70 millimeters on the height, and then 60 millimeters on the overall. We're going to extrude, and thickness, actually the width of the part is 50 millimeters. And since we're doing end conditions, let's go with a mid-plane end condition. That will put 25 millimeters forward of the front plane and 25 millimeters to the rear of the front plane. Alright, and then 15 millimeters on the thickness, and we need to make sure it's going the right way, so this is growing outwards. So that means I need to toggle my direction so that it makes the cut to the interior. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And then sketch. Alright, so 25 and 20, half of 20 would be 35. And 15 and 10 would be 25, so that says that this is going to be centered. So I'm going to do a Control 8 normal 2. We're in the sketch, and we have the center rectangle, and the rectangle is 20 by 20. Alright, and then if my design intent is that this rectangle will always be 20 by 20, then I'm going to set those to equal. Since I have the origin, one of the advantages of setting the midplane is that I can pick the origin and the center point of my center rectangle, and the origin are vertical. And then selecting the midpoint along one of the edges, and the center point of the rectangle can be horizontal. And then we will extrude cut. This one, there's nothing to terminate, so through all. The top may just miss, but it'll be something that we want to verify. All right, so if we go back to our views and go to the hidden lines visible, I think I'll stay with the center rectangle. And we do have a dimension, but 15 and 20 and 20 by 15 for our length, so we can't use the equal for the sides. But I can still use the origin and the center of my rectangle for horizontal, and then all I have to do is position it along that face. Alright, so that has a distance of 15. Alright, and doing that, it's not quite. We have just a little bit of a gap, and would be interested in seeing that. Let's see, 40 back from 60 should be 20. That doesn't quite look like 5 millimeters, but oh, that would be it. 15. Okay, so we still have overlap. And I say if something looks strange, then it's time to stop and check it out and figure out what's going on. But based on that, if I was to do through all, it would notch into the lower leg. So let's take a look at through all, and you can see from the preview the material that it's going to remove. Last time we did up to next, so let's do an up to surface. Alright, so up to surface has the advantage that if this had curvature or we were trying to generate some more complex geometry, is it would follow that that surface as well as what it's doing with the planar surface. Alright, so save, and we're on to the next.